Archangel Michael says, "My dear child, the last 1 minute and 11 seconds of this video could be the turning point that brings new light and hope into your life. Watch until the end to receive the beautiful blessings that are already on their way to you." In a voice not of thunder, but of the gentlest breeze brushing against the trembling leaves of a tree in spring, that time is growing shorter in ways not measured by clocks or calendars, but by the quiet cries of hearts that have grown weary and lost in the noise of the world. He speaks not with fear, but with a love so strong and patient that it has waited through centuries just for you to pause, to breathe, and to listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit that still remembers what it means to be held in the hands of a loving God. This is not a warning wrapped in panic. This is a call soaked in mercy, flowing from the heart of Jesus Christ, whose arms never tire of reaching out even when we turn our faces away again and again. Jesus is not coming with fists full of judgment, but with hands that still bear the marks of sacrifice, holding out a secret that is not meant to be hidden, but embraced before another night falls on a soul still searching for peace in all the wrong places. Type 777 if you walk by faith. There is a softness in his calling that many miss because they expect the voice of heaven to roar like thunder. But Jesus calls gently, with tears in his eyes, hoping you will feel how deeply you are loved even in your most broken state. The secret he wants you to know is not locked away in mystery or wrapped in riddles. It is simple, pure, and real. It is that God's love is still reaching for you, even now, especially now, when you feel furthest from him. This is an emergency not because God is angry, but because the world is pulling so many hearts away from the truth, dressing up distractions as joy, and covering up emptiness with flashing lights and empty noise. The days move fast, and in all the rushing, so many have forgotten how to sit in the stillness of God's presence, where peace does not depend on circumstances and love is not earned but freely poured out, moment by moment, from a Father who never stops waiting. Archangel Michael says heaven sees the sorrow you hide behind smiles, the heaviness you carry quietly, and the fears that you never name. Jesus sees it too, not from afar, but from beside you, even in the shadows you think are too dark for him to enter. He has walked those paths, he has carried that cross, and he has sat in silence when no one else showed up. That is the kind of love he offers. Not the kind that only meets you in joy, but the kind that walks into your pain and stays. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. This secret he calls you to know before tomorrow is not about what you must do or fix. It is about who you are to him, and who he wants to be for you. He wants you to know that even if your past is tangled, your heart is tired, and your future feels uncertain, there is a place in him that is steady, safe, and full of light. He is not asking you to understand everything. He is only asking you to come close, just as you are, and let his presence begin to heal what the world has bruised. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not beyond his reach. Even now, While you read this, His Spirit surrounds you like the morning sun slowly warming a cold room. You may not see it, but if you are quiet enough, you may feel it, a soft stirring in your soul that feels like home, because it is. The battle between light and darkness is real, and many are caught in the middle, unsure which voice to follow, which truth to trust, and which path leads to life. Archangel Michael says the battle is not just out there in the world. It is within hearts, hearts that long for something more, something holy, something eternal. That longing is not weakness. It is the whisper of the Spirit, reminding you that you were made for more than fear, shame, or loneliness. Type 444 if you believe in God's divine protection. Jesus is calling you, not tomorrow, not later, not when you feel ready, but now. Because now is when you are alive, now is when His love can meet you, and now is when healing can begin. You do not have to climb toward Him. You only need to open the door from the inside. He is already standing there, knocking, not with force, but with hope. Archangel Michael wants you to know this with your whole heart. The love of God is not a story told in old books or dusty buildings. It is alive. It is near. It is meant for you. And though the world may shout 1,000 other messages, the quiet truth remains: Jesus still saves, still heals, still loves, and still calls you by name. Archangel Michael says, the urgency in his voice is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken something that has been asleep for far too long inside your heart. It is the part of you that still remembers what it feels like to be close to God before life became complicated, before the pain and disappointment started piling up like stones in your chest, before the world taught you to doubt, to fear, and to hide. There is still something in you, tender and hopeful, that has not forgotten how to believe. Heaven is watching with deep compassion, not from a distance, but close enough to feel the tremble in your breath when you try to hold yourself together in moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. Jesus is not looking at you with disappointment. He is looking at you with tears in His eyes, because He knows how long you've been trying to make it through on your own, and He wants you to know that you were never meant to carry this life alone. The secret He longs for you to know is not hidden in complexity. It is not reserved for the perfect or the strong. It is simple, and it is for you. It is that His love has never left, not for a second, even in your darkest seasons. No matter what you've done or how far you've drifted, God's love still surrounds you like a quiet river running beneath the frozen surface of everything you've tried to ignore or forget. It has always been there, waiting to be felt again. Archangel Michael says this is an emergency, not because God is panicked, but because your soul is weary, and the world keeps pulling you further away from what truly matters. We are living in days where so many people are searching for meaning in places that only offer temporary comfort, running from wound to wound, without stopping to listen to the quiet voice of Jesus saying, "Come to me. You are safe here." This moment is sacred. Not because it is perfect, but because it is real. Jesus is not asking for your performance. He is asking for your heart. He is asking for your honesty. He is asking for your pain, your regrets, and your silent hopes, the ones you never say out loud. He already sees them, and He is not turning away. He is drawing closer. The world has made it easy to feel invisible, easy to believe that you must earn love, or pretend to be strong, or hide your weakness like it's something to be ashamed of. But in the kingdom of God, your weakness is not a burden. It's the doorway through which His strength pours in like light breaking through the cracks. He does not need you to be perfect. He just needs you to let Him in. Type 555 to receive blessings and miracles. Archangel Michael stands as a messenger of the highest kind, not bringing threats or fear, but carrying a call of love that has waited since the beginning of time to reach your ears. And the message is this: you are more loved than you know, more seen than you believe, and more wanted by God than you can imagine. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. You are still His child. Jesus wants you to come as you are, not cleaned up, not put together, not pretending. Just come. Let Him be the one who does the healing, who untangles the thoughts in your mind, who holds the pieces of your heart and gently puts them back together. Let Him be your peace in the storm, your calm in the chaos, your light in the night. He has never failed, and He will not fail you. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. There is a quiet ache in so many people now, the kind that cannot be fixed with more things or more distractions. It is a hunger for truth, for love that stays, for a place to rest where your soul is known and accepted. That place is in Jesus. That love is in God. And it has always been waiting, even when you could not see it. Archangel Michael says this is not a moment to delay. This is not a message to save for another day. It is now. It is holy. It is personal. Because Jesus is not calling just anyone, He is calling you. Not by your mistakes, not by your shame, but by your name. And when He calls, it is not with judgment. It is with hope. He is saying, "Come home. You belong with me." Even if you feel unworthy, even if you feel unsure, even if you feel nothing at all right now, come anyway. Just as you are. Come with your doubts, come with your pain, come with your silence. He will meet you there. He always does. And once you come, you'll begin to feel the weight start to lift. Not all at once, but gently, like fog lifting from a valley, letting the morning light shine through. That is how healing begins. That is how love returns. Archangel Michael says, there is something sacred happening in the stillness of this moment, even if everything around you feels uncertain or heavy. This is not just another message. It is a holy invitation from the heart of God, a gentle yet urgent reminder that Jesus is not far from you, not now, not ever. He has been with you in every quiet cry, in every unanswered prayer, in every moment you felt like you were walking through life unnoticed and unheard. The emergency is not about fear, but about time. Time that is passing quickly, time that we do not get back, time that so many spend chasing everything except the one thing that truly satisfies the soul. Jesus is calling out, not with anger or demands, but with love that aches to be known by you, to be trusted by you, to be the place where your heart can finally rest. You have carried so much for so long, things no one else may even know about. Burdens that have left you tired in ways sleep can't fix. Memories that weigh you down like stones in your chest. Questions that haunt your quiet moments, and fears that rise up in the silence. But none of it is too much for Jesus. In fact, He has already taken it upon Himself, long before you ever asked Him to. That is the depth of His love. It runs ahead of you. It prepares a place for you before you even realize you're lost. Type 666 if you trust in God's grace and mercy. Archangel Michael says this secret is not just information. It is a truth that can change everything if you let it in. And the truth is this: Jesus is still waiting for you to come to Him, not just to believe in Him, but to lean into Him with your whole heart, to surrender the pain you've hidden and the fears you've tried to fight on your own. He is not a distant figure in a book. He is alive. He is close. He is speaking your name right now. There is a tenderness in the way He reaches for you. Not to shame you, not to scold you, but to remind you that you were created for love, for belonging, for eternity. The world will try to convince you that you are only what you achieve or what you look like or what others say about you. But Jesus says you are His. You are chosen. You are precious. And nothing you've been through has changed that. Sometimes, healing doesn't come in grand moments, but in the quiet turning of your heart back to Him. That's all He's asking for, that you turn toward Him, even just a little, even if it feels awkward or unsure. He will do the rest. He will meet you in your weakness, and He will not rush you or push you. He will walk with you, patiently, tenderly, until your soul begins to feel again, until the numbness starts to melt, and until hope begins to grow where pain once lived. This is an emergency not because God is angry, but because the enemy has worked so hard to keep you distracted, discouraged, and disconnected from the truth of who Jesus really is. The enemy wants you to believe you are alone, that no one understands, that God has given up on you. But Archangel Michael says heaven knows the truth, and the truth is that nothing, no failure, no fear, no distance, can separate you from the love of God when your heart turns toward Him. Jesus is not looking for the polished version of you. He wants the real you. The one who is hurting. The one who is confused. The one who is still holding on, even if just barely. He already knows everything, and still, He chooses you. He doesn't flinch at your wounds. He does not walk away from your mess. Instead, He steps into it, offering peace that doesn't depend on your circumstances and joy that doesn't fade when life gets hard. Archangel Michael stands not only as a messenger but as a witness to God's faithfulness. He has seen how God has waited for you, watched over you, and fought battles on your behalf even when you didn't know they were happening. And now, He brings this message because heaven is drawing near. Not with noise or spectacle, but with a love that is deeper than the ocean and stronger than every fear you've ever known. Let this be the moment you stop running from the pain and start running toward the one who can actually heal it. Let this be the night you let your heart crack open enough for His love to pour in. Let this be the day you stop believing the lie that you are too far gone or too broken or too late. Archangel Michael says, "Heaven has never been closer than it is in this very moment, and yet so many hearts have grown too tired to notice, too hurt to hope, and too distracted to hear the quiet, steady voice of Jesus calling them back to life." This isn't about religion or rules, and it's not about shame or guilt. This is about love, pure, healing, unconditional love, reaching out through the noise and pulling you gently toward the truth you were born to know. Type "I love God" to claim abundance through God's love. The secret isn't hidden behind walls or buried beneath conditions. It's not a riddle to be solved or a mystery meant for the few. The secret Jesus wants you to know before tomorrow is that no matter what this world has told you, God has not forgotten you, not even once. He hasn't looked away during your hardest moments, and He hasn't withdrawn His love when you made mistakes you haven't been able to forgive yourself for. His love didn't lessen. It grew stronger. Archangel Michael speaks softly, like a lullaby to a soul that hasn't truly rested in years. He doesn't come to stir fear or bring condemnation. He comes as a friend to your spirit, reminding you that time is precious and the call of Jesus is not something to push aside for when you're older, or when life slows down, or when you feel more put together. That time may never come. But this moment is real, and it's here, and it's holy. Jesus is not calling you into a life of burden, but into a life where burdens are lifted. He's not asking you to prove yourself. He's asking you to receive what He already paid for, the love that heals, the peace that settles deep in your soul, the grace that covers everything you've been through, and the hope that tomorrow can be different, even if yesterday left you broken. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. This world is quick to move on, to overlook, to forget. But Jesus never forgets. He remembers the exact moment you felt abandoned. He remembers the tears you cried that no one else saw. He remembers the prayers you whispered through clenched teeth, wondering if anyone was listening. And now, with a heart full of compassion and mercy, He's reaching out, not just to comfort you, but to restore what was lost, to rebuild what was broken, and to remind you of who you are in His eyes. Archangel Michael says that the true emergency is the silence in hearts that have stopped listening, the silence in souls that no longer expect goodness, and the silence that grows louder when we let the noise of the world drown out the voice of the Savior. But even in that silence, Jesus is speaking. Even when you think you've gone too far, His love whispers, "You are still mine." You were never meant to carry your wounds alone. You were never expected to be perfect before coming to Him. Jesus is not waiting for your perfection. He is waiting for your surrender. Just as you are, with every scar and every shadow, He wants you. Not someday, today. Not when you feel worthy, now, when you don't. Because He knows that His love can make you whole again. It's not a promise for a distant future. It's a truth that begins the moment your heart says yes. There is something sacred about choosing to come home to Jesus, especially when the world offers every excuse to stay away. And Archangel Michael wants you to know, beyond all doubt, that your home is still with God. It's not too late. You haven't missed your chance. Your story is not over. In fact, the part where healing begins, that chapter starts now, right here, where you are. Let your heart believe it, even if it's just a little. Let the tears fall if they need to. Let the walls you've built begin to soften. God does not need you to have all the answers. He only wants you to come close. Close enough to feel His presence. Close enough to hear the still, small voice that says, I am with you. I have always been with you. Come to me. Type 999 if you trust Jesus with all your heart. Archangel Michael says, there is a tender ache in heaven when even one heart forgets how deeply it is loved. The world has become loud and restless, full of promises that vanish like mist in the sun, but there is one promise that never fades, never fails, and never changes, and that is the promise of Jesus Christ to never leave you, never give up on you, and never stop calling you back to His love. This is not a message meant to stir panic, but to awaken your spirit from the heaviness that's been pressing against your chest for far too long. You may have grown used to the weight, used to carrying it alone, and maybe you've even convinced yourself that this is just the way life has to be. But it doesn't have to stay this way. Jesus has always had a different story for you, one written with mercy, healing, and peace in every line. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you believe God's love is forever. The secret He longs for you to understand isn't far away. It's already inside of you, placed there by God before you were even born, a quiet knowing that there is more than the pain, more than the noise, more than the sadness that comes without warning. That secret is this: you are still worthy of love, not because of anything you've done, but because of who you are to Him. You are His, and you always have been. Archangel Michael says this is the moment to listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. The calling of Jesus is not a shout, but a steady whisper that cuts through confusion, through doubt, through fear, and reaches the most fragile part of your heart. And when He speaks your name, He does it with kindness. He doesn't demand perfection or strength. He simply asks you to come closer, to trust that even after all this time, His love still holds you. Sometimes, when life has worn you down, it becomes easier to believe in sadness than in hope. It becomes easier to expect more loss than to believe in healing. But Jesus came to break that pattern. He came to make a way where there was none. He came to be light in your darkest place, not just once, but every day, for as long as it takes until you believe again, until you breathe again, until you feel alive again. The emergency is not because God has changed, but because the world has. Hearts have hardened. Love has grown cold. Faith has been replaced by fear, and joy has been buried under anxiety. But Jesus is not asking you to fix any of that by yourself. He is offering to carry it with you, to lift the burdens you thought you had to hide, to walk with you every step, and to heal the wounds so deep you no longer talk about them out loud. You may feel like you've failed too many times. You may believe the damage is too deep. But Jesus sees the beauty still buried in you, and He is not afraid of the mess. He reaches into the ruins and rebuilds. He speaks into silence and brings comfort. He breathes into lifeless places and restores what was thought to be lost. His love doesn't ask questions. It just gives. Freely. Fully. Without holding back. Type 1010 to affirm that God's timing is perfect. Archangel Michael says that this message is not coincidence. It is not just another passing moment. It is heaven reaching into your life and asking you to stop, just for a little while, and remember who you truly are when the lies of the world fall away. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. You are beloved. Jesus is not waiting for you to feel holy. He is waiting for you to feel safe enough to let Him in. And when you do, even if it's just a small opening, His presence will rush in like light through a cracked window. You'll begin to feel again, to breathe again, to hope again, not because the world gets easier, but because your heart begins to rest in something unshakable. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to say yes to the love that's never stopped pursuing you. You don't need to fix yourself before coming to Him. Just come. With your fear. With your silence. With your grief. With your doubt. And let Him do what only He can do, wrap you in mercy, speak peace over your soul, and carry you where you've been too tired to walk. Archangel Michael says this is a call from heaven to your heart. Not a threat. Not a test. But a gentle, sacred call to come home. Before tomorrow. Because tomorrow is never promised. But this moment is. And in this moment, Jesus is near. Archangel Michael says, there is something holy happening in the still places of your heart, even if you can't see it yet. Even if you feel lost, numb, or far away, something sacred is reaching for you. Not because you've earned it, and not because you've figured everything out, but because Jesus never stops loving what He created. He never stops coming for the one who wanders. He never forgets the soul that has forgotten how to hope. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. This emergency is not about panic or fear, it's about how quickly the heart can grow cold when it is left alone in sorrow for too long. It's about how easy it is to let life become so busy, so loud, and so overwhelming, that you no longer hear the soft voice of God reminding you that you were never made to do this alone. You were never meant to carry pain without healing, to walk without guidance, or to live without love. There is something Jesus wants you to know before another night passes, something that is so gentle, so full of grace, that it will never force itself into your life. And yet, it is powerful enough to change everything. That something is this: you are still loved in full. Not a little. Not partly. Not conditionally. But fully, deeply, and forever. Loved by a God who sees past your fear, your anger, your guilt, and your silence, and still chooses you without hesitation. Archangel Michael says there are angels who have watched over you through the darkest nights, moments when you thought no one knew, when your heart was aching too much to speak, and when you felt too tired to even pray. Those weren't empty moments. Those were sacred ones. Because in your stillness, God was closer than ever. When you were too weak to speak His name, He whispered yours again and again, calling you back, waiting without pressure, loving without pause. Type 1111 if you believe heaven is listening. This is not about getting everything right. It never was. Jesus did not come for the already perfect. He came for the wounded, the doubting, the grieving, and the ones who keep silently asking if they're too far gone. He came for the ones who are still holding on, even if just by a thread. And if that thread is all you have left, He will wrap it in His hand like treasure and hold you until you can feel steady again. The love of Christ isn't loud. It's not flashy or loud like the world's promises. It doesn't need to shout because it is steady and real. It shows up in the small moments, the quiet comfort when no one else understands, the sudden strength when you think you can't go on, the gentle peace that comes in the middle of the storm and not after it. His love is not waiting on the other side of your healing. It is what begins the healing in the first place. Archangel Michael reminds you that heaven is watching, not with judgment, but with a hope that burns brighter than the sun. You may think of yourself as weak, but heaven sees you as worth fighting for. And Jesus has already fought for you, through suffering, through death, through every barrier between you and God, and He would do it all again just to hold your heart in His hands. There is no shame too heavy. No past too dark. No mistake too deep. There is nothing in you that God cannot redeem. And the beauty of grace is that it meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. It flows through cracks, not around them. It enters into the wounds, not after they're healed. It walks beside you on the days you don't feel spiritual, on the days you feel empty, on the days you question everything. Jesus is calling you before tomorrow comes, not with urgency rooted in fear, but with urgency rooted in love. Because tomorrow might bring more noise, more distraction, more reasons to put off what your heart is quietly craving now. And He knows your heart. He knows what it needs more than you do. He knows you need peace that doesn't rely on circumstances, love that doesn't fade, and truth that doesn't change. You may feel like you don't have the strength to respond. But all you need is the courage to be honest with Him. To open the door, just a little. To say, I'm here. I'm listening. And when you do, you will not be met with pressure. You will be met with gentleness, kindness, and a love so patient that it will wait as long as it takes to walk with you through your healing. Archangel Michael says this is the moment. Let the past rest. Let the doubts be still. Let the worries fall silent for just a little while. Because Jesus is near, and He is everything your soul has been waiting for. Archangel Michael says, sometimes the greatest danger is not the storm outside, but the silence inside, a silence that grows when the heart feels forgotten, when faith begins to fade beneath the weight of sorrow, and when hope slips quietly through the cracks of everyday pain. But even in that silence, the voice of Jesus still speaks. Even when the soul feels numb and tired, His love remains constant, steady, and present. Type 1212 if you know God is guiding your steps. The secret He wants you to know before tomorrow is not complicated. It is not locked behind rules or requirements. It is simple, powerful, and life-changing. You are not alone, and you have never been. Archangel Michael says this is a call from heaven to your heart. Not a threat. Not a test. But a gentle, sacred call to come home. Before tomorrow. Because tomorrow is never promised. But this moment is. And in this moment, Jesus is near. Archangel Michael says, there is something holy happening in the still places of your heart, even if you can't see it yet. Even if you feel lost, numb, or far away, something sacred is reaching for you. Not because you've earned it, and not because you've figured everything out, but because Jesus never stops loving what He created. He never stops coming for the one who wanders. He never forgets the soul that has forgotten how to hope. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. This emergency is not about panic or fear, it's about how quickly the heart can grow cold when it is left alone in sorrow for too long. It's about how easy it is to let life become so busy, so loud, and so overwhelming, that you no longer hear the soft voice of God reminding you that you were never made to do this alone. You were never meant to carry pain without healing, to walk without guidance, or to live without love. There is something Jesus wants you to know before another night passes, something that is so gentle, so full of grace, that it will never force itself into your life. And yet, it is powerful enough to change everything. That something is this: you are still loved in full. Not a little. Not partly. Not conditionally. But fully, deeply, and forever. Loved by a God who sees past your fear, your anger, your guilt, and your silence, and still chooses you without hesitation. Archangel Michael says there are angels who have watched over you through the darkest nights, moments when you thought no one knew, when your heart was aching too much to speak, and when you felt too tired to even pray. Those weren't empty moments. Those were sacred ones. Because in your stillness, God was closer than ever. When you were too weak to speak His name, He whispered yours again and again, calling you back, waiting without pressure, loving without pause. Type 1111 if you believe heaven is listening. This is not about getting everything right. It never was. Jesus did not come for the already perfect. He came for the wounded, the doubting, the grieving, and the ones who keep silently asking if they're too far gone. He came for the ones who are still holding on, even if just by a thread. And if that thread is all you have left, He will wrap it in His hand like treasure and hold you until you can feel steady again. The love of Christ isn't loud. It's not flashy or loud like the world's promises. It doesn't need to shout because it is steady and real. It shows up in the small moments, the quiet comfort when no one else understands, the sudden strength when you think you can't go on, the gentle peace that comes in the middle of the storm and not after it. His love is not waiting on the other side of your healing. It is what begins the healing in the first place. Archangel Michael reminds you that heaven is watching, not with judgment, but with a hope that burns brighter than the sun. You may think of yourself as weak, but heaven sees you as worth fighting for. And Jesus has already fought for you, through suffering, through death, through every barrier between you and God, and He would do it all again just to hold your heart in His hands. There is no shame too heavy, no past too dark, no mistake too deep. There is nothing in you that God cannot redeem. And the beauty of grace is that it meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. It flows through cracks, not around them. It enters into the wounds, not after they're healed. It walks beside you on the days you don't feel spiritual, on the days you feel empty, on the days you question everything. Jesus is calling you before tomorrow comes, not with urgency rooted in fear, but with urgency rooted in love. Because tomorrow might bring more noise, more distraction, more reasons to put off what your heart is quietly craving now. And He knows your heart. He knows what it needs more than you do. He knows you need peace that doesn't rely on circumstances, love that doesn't fade, and truth that doesn't change. You may feel like you don't have the strength to respond. But all you need is the courage to be honest with Him. To open the door, just a little. To say, I'm here. I'm listening. And when you do, you will not be met with pressure. You will be met with gentleness, kindness, and a love so patient that it will wait as long as it takes to walk with you through your healing. Archangel Michael says this is the moment. Let the past rest. Let the doubts be still. Let the worries fall silent for just a little while. Because Jesus is near, and He is everything your soul has been waiting for. Archangel Michael says, sometimes the greatest danger is not the storm outside, but the silence inside, a silence that grows when the heart feels forgotten, when faith begins to fade beneath the weight of sorrow, and when hope slips quietly through the cracks of everyday pain. But even in that silence, the voice of Jesus still speaks. Even when the soul feels numb and tired, His love remains constant, steady, and present. Type 1212 if you know God is guiding your steps. The secret He wants you to know before tomorrow is not complicated. It is not locked behind rules or requirements. It is simple, powerful, and life-changing. You are not alone, and you have never been. From the beginning of your story, Jesus has walked beside you, even in moments when it felt like no one cared, when you questioned if anyone noticed, when you weren't even sure if you believed anymore. His love did not pull away in those moments. It leaned in closer. Archangel Michael says the heart of heaven is tender for you, especially now, in these days when so many are overwhelmed, afraid, or simply too tired to keep pretending that everything is fine. The truth is, you don't need to pretend with Jesus. You don't need to hide your doubt or force your faith to look strong. He sees straight through all of it, and He still calls you worthy of love. Not for who you might become, but for who you already are, His. This emergency is not a punishment. It's a call of mercy. The world moves quickly, and in that rush, it's easy to miss the quiet warnings in your spirit, the feeling that something's not right, the ache that lingers no matter what you chase, the longing for something more, even when you can't explain what's missing. That's your soul crying out for the one it was made to know. That's Jesus calling your name with tenderness, not urgency for fear's sake, but urgency for love's sake. He sees how much you've carried. He knows the silent battles, the private heartbreaks, the moments when you smiled while your heart was breaking underneath. And still, He draws near, not with demands, but with comfort. Not with judgment, but with understanding. He sits beside the broken pieces of your story and says, "Let me heal this. Let me be the one you turn to, not when you've fixed it, but now, just as you are." Archangel Michael reminds you that time is a gift, and sometimes the most important decision you can make is to pause, to let your soul be still enough to feel again, to listen for the voice of love that's never stopped speaking. Jesus isn't distant. He isn't angry. He isn't waiting on the other side of your recovery. He is right here, in this very moment, ready to begin again with you. You are not too complicated for Him. You are not too late. You are not too far. If your heart still beats, if there's still a flicker of longing inside you for something real, then that is enough. That is where grace begins. That is where healing starts. Jesus does not ask you to be strong. He asks you to be open. Let go, just a little. Breathe, just a little. Be honest with Him, even if your words feel messy. He understands the language of the heart, even when it's silent. He understands the tears you never cried and the ones you couldn't stop. And His response to all of it is love. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet FRE. Archangel Michael says this is a holy moment, a space where eternity reaches into time and touches your life with purpose. You don't need to wait for a sign. You don't need to be sure of everything. You only need to turn toward Him. Because the moment you do, you'll realize He's been with you the whole time. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. And you are still the one He loves, endlessly. Type 1313 to affirm strength through the Lord. Archangel Michael says, the weight many souls are carrying right now is not always visible on the outside. It doesn't always show in the eyes or the voice. But heaven sees it. Jesus sees it. The quiet exhaustion of trying to keep everything together. The deep ache of feeling like you're always falling short. The pressure of pretending everything is okay when, deep down, you're not sure you even believe that anymore. And yet, in the middle of that heaviness, there is a holy invitation, one that doesn't come to demand more from you, but to offer you something that will finally let you breathe again. Jesus is not asking you to fix what's broken before coming to Him. He's asking to meet you in the middle of it. Not once you've figured it out, but right now, while the questions are still tangled and the wounds are still open. He isn't looking for perfect prayers or flawless faith. He's looking for your heart, the one that's tired, the one that's wounded, the one that's still quietly hoping that maybe, just maybe, something better is still possible. The secret he wants you to know before tomorrow is not one of fear, but of deep, unshakable love. It's that you don't have to keep pretending to be okay. You don't have to keep running. You don't have to keep hiding behind distractions and noise. You can stop. You can exhale. And you can fall into arms that have never once let go of you, even when you let go of yourself. Archangel Michael says there is a reason you're here in this moment, reading these words. It's not random. It's not by chance. It's the gentle hand of God reaching into your life one more time, saying, please don't give up. Please don't walk away. Please let me remind you of who you are and how loved you've always been. Not because you're failing. Not because you're weak. But because you are worth fighting for, and heaven is still fighting for you. This is an emergency not because you're in trouble, but because you're hurting. And the longer that pain sits in your spirit, the deeper it can take root and quietly convince you that things will never get better. But Jesus says otherwise. He says healing is still possible. Peace is still possible. Redemption is still possible, even for the places in you that feel completely out of reach. Especially those places. He doesn't come with judgment in his eyes. He comes with tears, because he feels what you feel. You don't have to climb your way to him. Just turn your heart, even a little, and he'll come running. That's the kind of love he gives, immediate, undeserved, and complete. The kind that stays. The kind that holds you when you fall apart. The kind that doesn't leave when things get dark. Archangel Michael reminds you that the enemy wants you to stay numb. To stay distracted. To stay buried in shame. But Jesus came to set you free from all of that, not in some distant future, but now. Right now. His presence is real. His love is here. And his invitation is open, no matter where you've been or what you believe you've done. Type 1414 if you believe in divine protection. You are not disqualified from God's mercy. You are not too broken for his healing. You are not invisible to heaven. You are still being called by name. So let go of the lie that says it's too late. Let go of the guilt that keeps you silent. Let go of the fear that says you'll never change. And let the truth in. Let Jesus in. Because what he offers isn't just comfort, it's transformation. It's life. It's peace. And it's yours, freely. This is not a drill. It's not just another passing message. Archangel Michael says, no soul was ever created to live in despair. No heart was ever formed by God's hands to walk alone in darkness, buried under guilt, confusion, or sorrow. Yet so many have come to believe that pain is permanent, that loneliness is normal, and that joy is something reserved for other people. Jesus is speaking into that lie right now, breaking through it with a truth so gentle and strong it can reach even the most tired places in your spirit.